Now, breaking news on KCTV 5 News.
Good afternoon to you. We are staying on top of heartbreaking developments on a story we've been covering closely now for several weeks. A Clinton, Missouri woman held captive in a box for 4 months was found murdered this morning along with her 17-year-old son. And right now, police are in a standoff with the man accused of killing those two. James Horn Jr. was charged with kidnapping 47-year-old Sandra Sutton earlier this month. Now he's accused of killing Sutton and her 17-year-old son. His name is Zachary Sutton. Now here's the first look at this 17-year-old victim. Here's a picture of Zachary. This is his yearbook photo from Clinton High School. His principal says he will be missed dearly. Now, we do have a crew there in Sedalia. It's where KCTV 5's Jonathan Carter is live now with the latest. JC, what are you hearing from there?
Well, Carolyn, right now, we've been pushed back for the third time, probably about a half block away from where our initial location was. It wasn't far from the home. Now, what I want to show you, as you can see just off in the distance, these units right here in the camouflage, those are from the sheriff's office. It's a TAC unit. They're joining Sedalia Police. And we can tell you that right now, the scene outside of James Horn's home here in Sedalia is tense. About an hour ago, we heard a bang, but we don't know exactly where it came from our vantage point. But police maintain their positions. Now, when we talk about the police, the ones we've seen are wearing tactical gear with assault rifles and covering Horn's home from all angles. Now, this is, of course, where it all started, where Horn's victim, Sandra K. Sutton, told police she was held captive for 4 months, forced at times to stay in a wooden box. Now, she escaped earlier this month, and the hunt for Horn has been on ever since. The scene continues right here, but I want to show you something. Let's have our photographer, Eric Schultz, swing around, and you can see a lot of people just standing out here. It's turned into a thing of curiosity for the neighbors. Now, we're going to talk to them a little bit later as they're being moved back even further right now, and I think that same thing is going to happen to us, and that's exactly what's happening. We're being moved back, so we anticipate something could possibly be happening, or they could be setting the stage for something to happen just a little bit later. Now, we're moving cables and complying with the police as we bring you this report right now, but we'll tell you that we're going to stay on top of this and bring you all of the details as they happen. Live in Sedalia, Jonathan Carter, KCTV 5 News.
All right, be careful. Thank you, Jonathan. Now our team coverage continues with KCTV 5's Elizabeth Rentschler. Just got new information, I understand, from investigators where you are there in Clinton. Is that right, Elizabeth?
That's right, Carolyn. In fact, what we're learning is that this incident could have been timed down to the hour, more so than what we may have thought before. And here's why. We're learning that where Sandra was staying here in Clinton, that was actually a relative's house. And what we're learning today is that Horn actually used to work with those relatives at a factory over in Sedalia, and therefore he knew their work shift, which is why when her relatives came home at 4 o'clock this morning, they discovered her and her son Zachary dead. Now, what police are thinking is that Horn knew exactly when those relatives were going to be out of the house and that it may have been timed as such. Now, we are learning that they both died from gunshot wounds. Sandra was found possibly in a bedroom, her son found on the stairs of that home. Now, what we're also learning is that the relatives told police that when they got there, they noticed that Sandra's car was missing. And what we're learning is that James actually took that car from the home, drove it to Sedalia. In fact, it was recovered over there at Bothwell Hospital there in Sedalia, which we're told is not far from his home. So what we're learning also right now, a lot of people asking here at the press conference and around town, why was Sandra not being watched by police? Why was she not here in protective custody? And this is what they had to say about that today.
She was not in protective custody. Several folks have asked that. Why didn't the police protect her? Why was she not in protective custody? The fact is that we didn't know she was living in our community. And as far as I can tell from checking, she has never even sought an order of protection against James Horn.
Now, another important thing to note, Carolyn, is that it doesn't seem at this time that there was any sort of forced entry or struggle inside the home, but that is something they're certainly still looking into today. Also, no sign that the two may have been in contact before this point. But, of course, we'll keep monitoring it here in Clinton with any more information. They will hold another press conference, we're told, around 1 o'clock or so. So we'll make sure to bring you the latest on air and, of course, on KCTV5.com. Reporting live in Clinton, Elizabeth Rentschler, KCTV5 News.
Interesting new details. Elizabeth, thank you so much. We have many questions, obviously, still yet to be answered about this horrible murder and everything that led up to it. To help us get some insight here, joined by our retired FBI agent, former police officer as well, Michael Tabman. Michael, there have been many questions happening specifically around this protective custody issue. How does that work? How does a protective order even happen for a victim like she was after being held prisoner in a box for 4 months?
Right. In this particular case, once the crime was uncovered, once she had escaped, the police should have done a threat assessment to understand if this would be a continuing threat, a profile, of the perpetrator. And I think that it would have been obvious that it would have been a continuing threat, and she should have been offered some sort of protection. Now, we don't know if she was or not, because it's not unusual for them to turn down that type of protection.
Why is that? Why do so many people turn down that offer?
Sometimes they just don't believe that the person is going to kill them, irrespective of what happened to that. They're just not comfortable with being under 24-hour surveillance with the police department or whatever conditions they offer. But we don't know if that was offered or not, but it should have been at the time that this crime was uncovered.
So it would have been potentially up to her had it been offered?
Yes.
Okay, so the other news we just got was that the Clinton officers there had no idea that she was even staying, who knows for how long, in their community. Again, though, up to her maybe to inform them that she was even there, right? Well,
that would indicate to me that she made no effort, or there was no coordination with the original police department, the original jurisdiction, to protect her, to find out what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And if there had been, they certainly would have notified the Clinton police. So there was a breakdown in communication if, in fact, there was some protection in place. If they never offered it, I say that was a terrible oversight. If she didn't take it, I think that was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, we're looking here at the man accused of both imprisonment originally and then the killing of now this woman and her teenage son. Any predictions here how this is going to end?
Well, if they, in fact, they are in a standoff with him now, as we believe, they're going to do everything they can to end it peacefully. But I think at this point he probably knows it's the end of the road. I think there's a better than even chance that he'll either commit suicide or force the police to shoot him.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll watch and see. Obviously, as Jonathan keeps getting pushed back, it's getting much more hostile as minutes go on. Michael, always a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you for coming in. Now, here's where things stand as of right now. Sedalia police in a standoff with this man. His name is James Horn, Jr. He is accused of killing Sandra Sutton. She is 47 years old, as well as her 17-year-old son, Zachary. Sutton, now the same woman that Horn is accused of kidnapping and holding captive in a box in his home for several months. Again, as you saw, we have a team of reporters covering every angle of this story. Our live, in-depth coverage will continue starting again this afternoon on our news at 4 o'clock. And you can also stay connected all day on our website, KCTV5.com, and with our free mobile app as well. Switching gears here for a moment, want to talk to our meteorologist, Lisa Teachman, standing by with our Storm Track 5 forecast. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Carolyn. And we broke out in plenty of sunshine this morning. Now, it looks like the sun's going to stick around as we head through this afternoon with temperatures staying on the comfortable side. Here's a beautiful look at downtown Kansas City with our Diagnostic Imaging Center's tower cam, even down on the plaza. Looks quite beautiful. Out at KCI, it's 59, feels like 57. Winds will continue to move in from the north at about 5 to 10 miles per hour this afternoon. May see a little bit more cloud cover as we go through this evening and especially tonight. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the mid-60s, which is 10 degrees cooler than normal. When we warm up and rain returns, that's all ahead of my Storm Track 5 forecast. Carolyn, back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Now, these cooler temperatures, when's the last time you heard this? Will prevent Kansas City from opening many of the public water parks and major pools this weekend. The following facilities will not open for the holiday weekend as planned. So if you have plans to head out to any of these places to celebrate the Memorial Day weekend, might be time to come up with a plan B. Instead, city pools will reopen, they say, when the temperature reaches a solid 70 degrees. Right now, protests are being held at McDonald's restaurants, specifically at the headquarters in Illinois. They're calling for $15 an hour in pay for workers. Earlier this year, McDonald's said it would raise the starting pay to $1 above the local minimum wage. But labor organizers say that's not enough. Meanwhile, in Kansas City, leaders are taking up the minimum wage discussion right now. They met at the top of the hour to discuss raising the city's minimum wage to $15 per hour. They have a lot to consider here at this meeting, including the idea of a livable wage, as it's being called. That's what it takes to get by. Experts at MIT broke it down. They say a single working adult in Kansas City would need $9.92 just to get by. A working adult with 3 kids would need $30 an hour. Some on the council worry that raising the wage would defy state law, which does ban cities from raising the minimum wage, which is now set at $7.65 per hour. Shawnee police are asking people to be on high alert after officers say a man tried to get 2 children into his van. This happened near 63rd and Zarda. Police tell us the man was driving a white van, told the kids that he would take them to someplace quiet. The children ran to a neighbor's house, luckily, and the parents were able to call police. Shawnee police tell us they are focusing their patrols on a certain area during this investigation. The biggest auto recall in U.S. history has a lot of drivers kind of confused at this point. But coming up, what you're being told not to do with those airbags.
You want to have 700 jerseys. You want to have some stuff that's a little bit different.
After months of preparing, it is finally here. A sneak peek at what you can expect from the Gridiron Glory exhibit. And we're also, of course, staying on the scene there live in a couple of different areas. It's a developing situation in both Sedalia and Clinton after a woman was found dead, and her son as well. New details on this standoff with the suspect in minutes.
You're watching KCTV 5 News at noon.